Hey, what's up? Welcome back to Southpaw Picks, and you're here with your host Charles. And this is the UFC 274 breakdown. And on this special pay-per-view, I'm gonna be having a special guest join us. That's Colin from Chase the Ace Sports Handicapping. He's super sharp. He's gonna also go through the breakdown with us, give you guys some spots, give you guys some plays, and also be looking to make you guys some good money this weekend. Now, before we get into that conversation, I'm just gonna run you through the quick recap where we go 7-4 on predictions last week and we profit 7.68 units. Now, in that unit count, I'm not mentioning obviously the two plays I had on Katie Taylor for the win, and also, coming up today, this is Friday, so we did hit a Bellator play, straight shot on Piotr Nowinski out of Poland there, and I thought that was a great line. I thought it was a great spot, and also we'll be looking to get some PFL plays out to you today, if we have time in this conversation. But like I said, we're going to continue to truck along. We're plus 34 units for the year. There's no way we come down. We're just onwards and upwards, guys. Hopefully we close out this year at 100 plus units, and I continue to move forward and give you guys the content you deserve. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome you guys to the conversation I had with Chase the Ace Sports Handicapping
review. But I do have a new guest with me today. It is my boy Southpaw Picks. Introduce yourself.
Hey, this is Charles. I'm hosting Southpaw Picks here, a YouTube channel where we like sports handicapping, predictions, and we're looking to make you guys a lot of money this weekend.
Hell yeah. Love that. We'll jump right into this. And just to kick things off, if you did not hear already, Oliveira did miss weight. I think it was by a half a pound, but either way, still missed weight. He'll have to vacate the belt. So I don't think he'll be able to win it, but he could, he'll still be able to win the fight, of course, but he won't be able to win the belt back, if that makes sense.
So does that change your opinion on who you're picking to win a little bit?
Honestly, I think this the best bet in this, and I think I mentioned it in my previous video, is bet under 3 rounds or under 2.5 rounds. I think it was minus 170. Let me find it. I use Bovada on. I think there you go. Oliveira dropped in price too. He was minus 175. Now he's minus 140.
Yeah, minus 140. Wow.
So
Wow.
and they have under 2.5 rounds minus 160. So I think that's a pretty solid play.
That's what I got it at. Yeah.
Because I think, like we were talking about this earlier, like he's gonna be depleted. This guy's gonna be like super, gonna be dehydrated, gonna be everything. I mean, I just don't think he'll be able to make it back up in 24 hours or a little more because he'll have a little more time. But either way, just not a good look. Really, just not a good look after what he had 10 weeks, I think, to prepare for this, which is
And
insane.
how much fight is he gonna have, right? How much fight is he gonna have when it goes tough, when it gets tough in there, since he's not fighting for anything, right?
For real, yeah. And I also mentioned this to you in our text, but Justin, I watched his podcast. He was on the Full Send podcast, and he said this is gonna be, I think, without a doubt, my last chance at getting the belt. So he's gonna be going hard, and even gonna be going harder now that Oliveira is gonna be depleted. He's gonna be starving out there, and Justin, he has a crazy chin. So I just think if they're going to be exchanging and swinging, I think I might be trusting Justin more on the feet now.
Yeah, that's the danger factor for Oliveira, in my opinion. The feet is dangerous. He gets hit. I just don't know what you're fighting for at this moment, right? Like when this fight gets tough, like you said, it's Justin's last chance. So when it's tooth and nail, who's gonna dig deeper here? And like I said, we've seen Charles quit, even though we haven't seen it in a while. It might still be there.
Yeah, you never know. I just think staying away from choosing a side, or at least Oliveira probably is the move, and just go with under 2.5 rounds because I really think someone could go night in this fight.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna stick with Oliveira just because he has more ways to win. But that's the only play I'm gonna be on is the under 2.5, and I expect that to catch. I don't think this lasts more than 12 minutes, anyways.
Yeah, I really don't think it'll even go out of the second round. I really think someone will end it in the second round. Even the first one, it could happen. But we all good on that one? You want to move on from that? Okay, so first, I just wanted to get that immediate news out of the way. But first fight on the main card, I believe, is the Cowboy Joe Lauzon fight. And
Yes.
I did mention it in my video, but I just feel like where Cowboy is at in his career and paying minus 175 for him is just like, just really sketch, man. I don't know. Like, I think he could definitely win this fight, and he has more ways to win it, and he's more active than Lauzon. But man, I don't know. Trusting both these guys are old, so I don't want to call them one of them old. They're both old, but I don't know. I just think I was looking at the under on this fight. I think like under 2.5 rounds was decently priced. It's just, man, betting on these old guys is so tough. What's your opinion?
Now, I'm trying to fight back, like, the emotional attachment to Don. Like I was telling you that, like, I kind of want him to win. And I seen that line. It's at minus 200 now, last time I checked. And he looked good on the scales, honestly. He looked in great shape. You have his son around. It seems like there's something he's going to be fighting for. If Cowboy can even just turn back the clock for one night, he's better than Joe Lauzon. It's just these results we're seeing, right? That Morono fight was scary to see. His reaction to the shots. Although the Nico price was fairly competitive, honestly, you know, for a 170-pound bout, I think Joe's like you said, can come out here, be berserker, and finish him in the first round. But I'm gonna ride with the Cowboy one last time thing. I think this is a setup for him. I think he has all the avenues to win. He just got to stay safe in that first round. Do I make the play on it? No, I think the under is the best option there. And I've been hearing Joe Lauzon first round is like 10-1 in some books.
You could get the fight to not complete 2 rounds, so it does not go 10 minutes, minus 120.
Minus 120?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but Joe Lauzon in the first round, can I get that on my book? I think I can. Come on, where is it? Joe Lauzon in the first round is plus 450.
That's 450, so it's been hammered already, eh?
Probably, yeah. And you get him in round 1 or 2 plus 350, so like a double chance, sort of.
Yeah, he's got a lot of first round finishes.
But yeah, Joe Lauzon, he comes. One thing I have noticed from watching all of his like old fights is he just comes out like a bull. And Cowboy, he sort of starts out slow. So I think if Cowboy could weather the storm, I think he could definitely win this fight. But
yeah,
the super sketch fight betting on these old guys.
We can't trust him at minus 200, man.
Yeah,
like how can we?
I think he was minus 200 at one point, and then he dropped back down. But either way, just suspect. I'm not gonna bet on that one.
But final prediction, you're gonna go with Lauzon, or
I'm gonna roll
with Cowboy for the prediction.
Yeah, honestly, this just seems like a fight where it's like a winner stays and loser retires, or maybe both of them retires, honestly, because it's like where these guys are at in their career. It's like, honestly, it's like sort of sad watching these guys get beat up. So I'm gonna go with, I'll ride with you. I'll ride Cowboy one last time.
One last ride, man. One last ride with Cowboy. He's got his son in the crowd, man. He can't go out like, you know. He can't go out.
Dude, yeah, he was getting super emotional at the press conference. Yeah, I was like, that was like getting, even me, I was getting emotional. I'm like, damn, Cowboy. He's like, this might be his last fight, maybe. He's like, he's got to go back out there and prove something.
And like you said, your son's in the front row. You might have to be a fast starter tonight.
For real. Yeah, definitely.
Here. A lot of Apex fights recently. But let's move on down. I'm going to go with Cowboy for the pick. And we got next here.
We got OSP versus Shogun, who
another sketch ball of an event.
Another old guys, two old guys. But this one I'm much more confident in the favorite in OSP. I just really think he's gonna not only win this fight, but I think he's gonna win it inside the distance.
He looked good on the scale today too. When I saw the box come out, I was a little worried.
He's had problems. Yeah, he's had problems with his weight, his last few fights for sure.
But he came in 205 on the dot, right? Didn't need the pound allowance, and Shogun looked older than yesterday. That's for sure.
Dude, Shogun looks like my grandpa, dude.
He looked older than yesterday, man. Like, yeah. Like, honestly, I think it ends inside the distance. I know no two fights are the same, but I do see the same result here. I mean, if Ovince just lands a couple shots, body kick. He has a nasty body kick. Landed a couple times. I know Ovince is not a fan of getting hit. You know, that's why he kind of throws that counter look with his eyes closed. But I think that's enough to put out Shogun here. Like you said, he tapped his strikes. He's 40 years old. I think he's coming here to collect a paycheck, man.
Dude, yeah, I think his last fight was against who was that?
Paul Craig,
yeah. Dude, yeah, Paul Craig, and he tapped the strikes, dude. That is never a good look. And you get OSP to win inside the distance, minus 120 on Bovada, which I think is a pretty good lick. But
minus 120,
yeah. I wouldn't mess around with KO or submission, either one, because I think he could do either or. Go through his record, and he has ton of with that Von Flue choke.
Von Flue choke, yep.
Like,
I think
he does
he
it so many times.
enough to even he's probably physically strong enough to even Kimura Shogun at this point.
I think he could really win this fight in a variety of ways. Decision, submission, KO. I just think the only way he loses this fight is if he's his own worst enemy. Like, he just doesn't fight a good game plan, or somehow Shogun catches him. So yeah, it's heavyweight, so you never know.
So I'm gonna side with you there. We're gonna ride with OSP. 39. He's getting up there, man. 25-6. All right, we got the feature prelim coming up here.
That's my first official pick, though. OSP inside the distance, minus 120. I'll be putting that on my Twitter. But are you good to move on from that?
Yes.
Okay, we'll be next fight. We have Michael Chandler versus Tony Ferguson. Now, interesting fight here.
I agree.
Because I really think that both these guys, they're on what is Chandler, 2-loss losing streak, Ferguson 3-loss losing streak, but all those losses, each of those guys are to like elite level competition. So I really think that both these guys, they may be old. I think Chandler's 36, Ferguson is 38. I still think that these guys have a lot left in the gas tank, especially Chandler. And Tony, he didn't look too good in his last fight, but the guy could really take some punches, man.
So he rolls too. He rolls with shots.
The guy is crazy, and the guy is just, his mentality is awesome. He never has given up. That's one thing I've noticed in his fights is, yeah, he got. I think they said like, oh, he's lost his last 11 rounds, his last 3 fights or whatever. But I mean, the guy's still standing in there, especially the Gaethje fight. He was getting just absolutely battered, and it was like 5th round they stopped it out of mercy because the guy was just getting brutalized. But you could get. I played this in a long shot play. Michael Chandler to win by decision plus 220.
Yes.
Because I really do think finishing Tony Ferguson might be one of the hardest things in this sport. I mean, watch his fight with Oliveira. That arm bar that was sunken, his arm was like reversed. I've never seen anything like that.
It was tear to shreds. The knee bar Benil put him in.
Oh my God.
And he just decided, I'm gonna kick with the other leg.
Yeah, dude, the guy he's like made of rubber or something. He just could get out of anything. And I really, like I said, finishing this guy might be one of the hardest things in mixed martial arts. So I think a good play for the value. Chandler's minus 400, but plus 220 for him to that by decision.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna sub him. He is good wrestling, but I knocking him out maybe. I think he'll maybe in the first round, if he does it, catch him maybe. But if it goes longer, I just think it favors Tony. And I'm going to go with Chandler by decision. That's my official pick.
Plus 220, that's a good tag. I like this fight a lot. I know a lot of people online have been riding with the 1.5. I heard that's pretty good, decently priced. I think about minus 160 along those lines. Obviously, Michael Chandler is dynamite in the first round. But in these 2 fights, we've seen him slow down. He doesn't necessarily fight to win. And you know what? As much as Justin beat Tony's ass in that fight, if there was 30 seconds left in that second round, does that uppercut put Gaethje away?
Maybe, honestly.
I don't, he was stumbling bad. I mean, he could have jumped on him. He was saved by the bell there. And I think that's what gave Tony confidence to think, you know what? I'm just going to throw down with this kid. And then it started to go south real quick. It's like that uppercut woke him up.
Yeah, Gaethje. I mean, Gaethje. Like I think I mentioned earlier, Gaethje's chin is just on another level. So I mean, that guy could get hit with a sledgehammer and barely would notice. But you
So
could get. Sorry to cut you off, but if you think the fight will end inside the distance, this is a
yeah,
pretty good bet right here. Either fighter to win in round 1 or 2, minus 140. So either fighter could finish within 10 minutes, and that's a decent odds right there.
I think this fight goes the distance. I like that play on Chandler plus 220. He just can't go for the kill because like you said, Chandler throws hooks. He's not jabbing. Like he'll throw like 1, 2, but he's primarily throwing power hooks and
Yeah,
like you said, Tony rolls with shots. But sometimes,
yeah,
we gotta get there early before late. Sometimes when you call the downfall of fighters, you gotta be there early sometimes, right?
totally. And
But Tony looks good, right? He looks ready for this fight.
I think he's confident at least, which I like. Yeah. So I don't think Tony's gonna get finished. I don't think he's gonna go out like a bitch, to be honest. I think the guy's pretty solid. I maybe not solid in the terms of like his wins in the last few years, but I mean the guy is just solid. He's solid. So I'm gonna go with final pick Chandler by decision.
I like that spot too. I like Chandler by decision. I bet it's gonna be close. I think Tony's gonna have a big third round.
I honestly I just hope it's. I mean, anytime Chandler's in there, same with Tony. Honestly, there's always fireworks. So
Exactly. Yeah. So let's go into this co-main event. And
okay.
how do you feel about this rematch?
So I was sort of thinking Rose inside the distance because it's 5 rounds, but I don't know. I've been watching a lot of Carla's old fights, and man, her wrestling is just crazy, crazy good. Like, I mean, just her sprawling and just the way she can get people down is just. Granted, I don't know. The last time these two fought was way back in 2014, and even then, I was noticing Rose had the striking advantage. She did look more comfortable on the feet, but I think she got a little tired. It was I think only like her third or fourth fight or something. It was on I think it was on the Ultimate Fighter or something. And,
yeah, I think it was like third, fourth fight. Yeah,
and
22.
Yeah, third round. I think she got submitted. I think she was just tired, honestly, but she was winning the exchanges on the feet, and I think she'll not only do that again, but even I think she'll really, really be proficient on the feet. I think when it goes to the ground, though, I think she just has to be careful. Her takedown defense was pretty decent in the second Waylay fight. She got taken out a few times, but she had her own takedowns herself, though, granted. But I'm going to go with probably women's MMA, so it's like you want to bet it by decision, but it's like I don't know. Rose can definitely put some lights out. So I don't know. I don't want to pick either one. So I maybe just Rose Namajunas good parlay piece. Maybe throw her in your parlay. Maybe work her in one of your plays. Maybe her in OSP. Maybe, but I don't know. I think she could win a variety of different ways.
Yeah, I agree here. You look back at the old fight. If there's a difference between that Rose, she came out with so much pressure on Carla in that first fight. She was walking forward and just swinging, throwing everything. Honestly, just high kicks, right hands, left hands. And now the reserve Rose you see is on the back foot. She's dancing, right? She's dancing. She has great footwork. She has a long jab. She's 4 inches height advantage, 2 inches in reach. I do think Carla will get takedowns. We can't deny that. But Carla has not fought in a 4th round ever.
Wow.
She's never fought in the championship rounds.
Wow.
So
okay.
She's good at getting 2 out of 3. And I do believe she might get 2 rounds here. But I do feel like her style, the fact that Rose is a crowd favorite, I feel like even in a close fight, she might get robbed. Honestly, in a close fight, she might get robbed here. And I do think Rose is good enough to fight up the takedowns, like you said. She did a decent job against Weili. She did a good job against Andrade in the second fight.
I agree.
And Andrade is super strong. Like she picked up Caitlin Chukagian and threw her down. A much bigger, longer fighter. I like Rose here, and I don't know if she gets the finish. I feel like she could. Carla's wedding is a week from now. I can't imagine she's going to want to take a beating for 25 minutes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got a wedding coming up.
Yeah, you got all the photos coming up. You got a black eye and everything.
Like, come on, black eye, busted face, and she does swell bad. Like Carla swells when she gets hit. And that close fight with Michelle Waterson, I did have a play on her there, but that was very uncomfortable for the Karate Hottie, who to me has not looked good at all in the last few years. I'm gonna say Rose wins 3 out of these 5 rounds, and that's all she needs here.
For
I think
sure.
Carla will get the takedown. I think it will be interesting. Carla's no scrub, but like I said, 8 years in advance, this version of Rose, I think she's right. It's not a matter of who the best strawweight is. It's a matter of, is she the greatest strawweight? Right.
Yeah,
She's up against herself, right?
Yeah, I think she gets this done most likely by decision. But moving on to the last fight, I just want to touch on it really briefly. It's just the Canelo fight.
Oh yes, sir.
And honestly, I really do think that he will come through. And let me just pull up the odds real quick.
You think he beats Bivol or Bivol? How you say it?
Bivol? Yeah, I think he beats him. Yeah.
This is up a weight class, right?
Yeah, this is light heavyweight, so I think it's different than UFC light heavyweight. I think it's like 170 in boxing.
Yeah, because the highest Canelo fought is 168, right?
I believe so. Yeah, but it's so close anyway. I think they call it like super middleweight 168. I think. Dude, boxing has like a million different belts, 20 different weight classes. It's crazy, but they have.
That's why it's watered down, man.
Yeah, I agree. But Canelo, they had him at minus 400 to open up at. Now he's minus 600. Yeah. And I think the best play for this fight by far is, it's down here somewhere, a million odds on it, is Canelo to win by decision. It's actually dropped odds. It's minus 135 now.
Yeah, because I thought it minus 150 earlier in the week.
Yeah, I saw it. It's high as almost like minus 200, so it's dropping for sure. And Bivol, I think if I already did it already because I have Canelo, I think in 4 separate plays to close out the parlays. If you need to hedge out, bet Bivol by decision. I mean, he's won his last 6 fights by decision, and Canelo has never been knocked out before. I don't even think he's been knocked down before.
No. Not off memory, that's for sure.
Maybe like slipped or something, but they don't count
that. That's the
pay-per-view era. Yeah. Yeah, maybe like 20 years ago or something. But I think the best play is Canelo by decision minus 136. They literally have the fight to go the distance minus 250. Yes. So yeah, I think it will just be a slow chess match. I don't even think anyone will get knocked down, to be honest. But that's
how do you think Canelo takes the power at this weight class?
I don't know. I think his own power is insane, and this Bivol guy is pretty defensive. He's touch and go, so I think this guy will. I think he'll win a few rounds. I mentioned in my last video he'll win probably like 2, maybe 3 rounds because
early ones, you think?
Yeah, I think he'll probably win the earlier ones because I've noticed Bivol in his last 2 fights in the championship rounds, he was getting really tired. The 10 through 12, he was getting really, really tired. So I think if Canelo could drag him to deep waters, especially in those late rounds, he could win a good decision. And it's in Vegas, so I think Cinco de Mayo was 2 days ago. I think they're gonna hook him up if it's close. They'll give him the decision.
Man, I'd hate to fight Canelo being smaller than me because the body is just so available.
For real. Yeah, dude. Yeah, and his body shots, like if you ever seen like guys like they'll put on like those chest mat things like they use in like practice, and guys like are like crumpling over and like keeling over when he hits them. It's crazy.
And now you're the taller guy in the situation.
Yeah, I'm 6'2". He would just punch me in the liver once and knock me over.
We can run through it quickly because definitely a lot of fights on this card.
It's just so many like fights that could go either way. If that makes this seems like a lot of prelim fights, but especially these ones. Like there's some big favorites. Like I was seeing this one. Man, what was this guy? Someone was hyping this guy up to me mad heavy. Fialho was one of them. Yeah, he was like minus 280 or something. But the other one was this. It's like minus 400 or something. It was
I know Fiallo's minus 400.
I think it might have been Fiallo because I remember they kept saying
Yeah.
like this Cameron VanCamp guy is like he's barely fought anyone. Like I think it's like I think he got like knocked out in the last or something like it was just something like really. I think he's heavier than him. Fiallo.
Yeah. He fought at 155. Primarily fought in the regional scene. A whole bunch of guys that are, not high level. I even know a couple guys that do like matchmaking and stuff, and apparently he's turned down a lot of their fighters on the regional scene.
Really? Okay.
So he's been a guy people have been targeting, and like I said, he's coming up to welterweight to a guy in Andre Fiallo who's got a lot of power, and I think we can I guess start from there because that's where it is going down. I guess they moved Khaos and Randy Brown down here, but
that Khaos fight really intrigues me to be honest.
Yeah, I know. I put Khaos as the fighter to watch this week, but I'll tell you how you feel. But let's run through this. Andre Fiallo versus Cameron VanCamp. I do believe this is a squash match, in my opinion. I love the power of Fiallo. VanCamp is a good grappler, but the competition level is not there at all. He's been inactive, not as active as Andre Fiallo here, who's coming off 4 out of his last 5. Majority of them first round KOs, and I think him by KO is minus 145, which is a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I think I think this fight won't go the distance. So I think even if you just bet it to like does not go the distance in one of your plays, I think that's pretty safe. But I think that he just knocks him out, to be honest.
I agree. So let's move on to this one where we're both familiar with. We got a welterweight bout. Randy Rude Boy Brown versus Khaos the Ox Fighter. So I'm gonna get you to kick this off. Tell me how you feel here, man.
So I'm from Michigan, as is Khaos Williams, and I'm gonna be a little biased here, but I will be rolling with my boy Khaos Williams. I mean, his knockout over Al Hassan might be one of the most vicious knockouts you'll ever see. I think it was like in 40 seconds, and the way he just hit the ground, like his body like just locked up, like his arms flew up in the air, and he has another good knockout over. I can't think of the name, but man, anytime. Yeah, another solid one. But he's not the most technical guy, I will admit. But if he is able to touch you, he has cinder blocks in his hands. The guy will shut almost anyone's lights out. I just think that Randy Brown, I've noticed he does have better grappling, better wrestling. But I think if Williams could keep this on the feet, just make sure that he's not up against the cage where he can't unload, I think that Williams will win this fight. I think he'll win it by knockout too.
Nice. I'll tell you my love hate with Khaos. What do you say, sorry?
I was about to say that's just my 2 cents. Like I said, I'm biased. He's from where I'm from, so I'm gonna pick him in most senses.
Of course. I love Khaos' story. I remember listening to a podcast about his life growing up, and I love his story. When he first came to the UFC, I faded him twice. The Morono fight and the Abdul fight. And I learned my lesson. Jumped on him the next 2 fights going forward. I jumped on him against Matthew Zettelsberger, who I like a lot, and against Miguel Baez, who I like a lot. And like I said, I learned my lesson, right? The mean mug, the fact that he can hit you with the inside corner of his hand and still put you to sleep. He's so fast, too. I mean, he's so fast when he bursts. But Randy Brown, to me, has really, I forgot he's been in the UFC since 2016, to be honest. He has a great resume. And the fights he's lost, I know he lost the hammer fist to Nico Price, who has power. It was unconventional. It was a weird one, right? But people try to label him as chinny there. When he lost to Vicente Luque, he was trying to put his hand to the ground to make himself grounded, and Luque gave him a Petr Yan knee to the head.
No one's gonna say anything though.
Yeah, he right before his hand got there, it was legal because he lifted him and kneed him straight to the head. But then the narrative is, Randy's a bit chinny, right? Honestly, his fight against Jared Gooden, who to me, very similar to Khaos, I would say a little bit more volume. I loved what I saw. I loved the range. I love the speed of the front kick, which he broke his toe on right away in the first round. He's also been boxing since he was 14 years old, before he went to MMA. He's got the grappling advantage, and it's so scary to bet against Khaos. Like I said, I've learned my lesson, right? I've learned my lesson here, and I know people are like, Khaos can chop him down with the leg kicks. The only thing with Khaos is that he doesn't set up the leg kicks. That's why he misses a lot. There's a lot of times where he swings these leg kicks and they're wide and not close because he doesn't set it up. He's very tense, and
Or
I
they
do
get
believe
checked,
that's where, or they get checked, and I do believe that's where Randy Brown's going to get him here. And I'm going to go with the more experienced guy, with the guy with more ways to win, and I just got to pray he's perfect for 15 minutes. The plus 100 I'm okay with, and obviously we've been getting Khaos as an underdog in a couple spots, right? So he's been undervalued. But I'm going to go with Randy Brown reluctantly. But he has more ways to win. And I got to pick the guy with more ways to win. And also the volume advantage here. So I'm going to go with Randy Rude Boy Brown. But I will be clenching my teeth every second. Hey, I can imagine him winning 14 minutes and then just getting slapped with a minute left.
Yeah, literally this fight could go 14 minutes, be a complete snoozer, and then someone just throws a hook, lights out. Probably
Game
from
over.
Williams, though, yeah.
Let's move on down to this. Oh, man, I don't know what to call this. This featherweight contest here. Macy Chiasson to me is a example of people just hyping up a big girl because of her length and her height. She really has very underwhelming wins, like Gina Mazzani, Shayna Young, Sarah Moraes. These girls are horrible. Lost to an old Lena Lamberg. And I like Norma Dumont, but how much time is this girl going to miss weight?
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
That's the stuff.
How big are you? Like, how big is she? You know what I mean? I don't think she's actually.
Google has her at 145, but I'm doubtful on that.
Yeah, right. I mean, she came in 138 that one time. The other fight, she got scratched. She couldn't make weight. The only time I think she made weight accurately was the Aspen Ladd fight, right? I mean, I don't know. It looks like she works hard. When you do the Instagram stalking, it looks like all Norma does is work.
I just think my biggest problem with Dumont in this, at least in her situation here, is I think she has like a 6-inch reach deficit here. Yes. Gonna be really hard on the feet. So gonna have to like close in. Gonna have to maybe work into her clinches, maybe some takedowns. I just think.
That's why I think
you mentioned before. Macy hasn't fought the best people though, so.
And she had a severe reach advantage against Pennington, who's a smaller girl, and Pennington was eating her with the jab, man. I'm like, how you have all this length and you're getting jabbed out by someone with a shorter length than you? You know, she seems very awkward in there. She does, like, as much as she's big, she doesn't seem athletic. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't seem athletic. And I was gonna play Norma Dumont. Remember I was telling you I like Brazil for the sweep. But now seeing her on the scale looking kind of scary, I'm reverting to my mind when Megan Anderson just KO'd her because she walked right into a straight shot. Walked right into a straight shot on the nose, and Megan Anderson got a title shot. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to place the bet on Norma like I was intending to, but I'm going to say Norma is the better fighter here, and maybe she squeaks out a close split decision, but no bet for me at all.
I'm usually pretty suspect on women's MMA anyways. I'm probably just going to stick with the main event with
those. Not bad, eh? I have pretty good results with women MMA. I find, I don't know. I guess women MMA have a bit of an eye for it, but this one, no can do. I don't want to get involved, especially at minus 220.
I was about to say, yeah, this one's definitely a pass for me either way. But I'm just definitely this fight I'll be suspect on, but I will be betting on Rose though for sure.
Okay, yeah, of course, world class, right? World class. Moving on down, we got a flyweight bout between Brandon Rog Dog Royval versus Matt Danger Schnell. And man, love Brandon Royval here. Great, exciting fighter. But I'm going to offer you this opinion. I do believe I think he's been overpriced here.
I agree. I think he should be the favorite, but I think, what is he, minus 280 or something?
Yeah, I've seen minus 275, 280. And Brandon's a risk taker. He's a risk taker. This is the first time he's fighting in front of a crowd in the UFC. He gets hurt in a lot of these fights until he turns it around, right? Love the strength of competition, though, right? Losses to Moreno and Pantoja. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. I did think he lost the fight against Bontarine. I had a ticket on Royval, and I was ready to rip it up.
Oh, dude, I remember that fight. Yeah, that was bad.
I thought I lost. So I was kind of lucky we got away with that one. Kind of like the Arlovsky win last week. I got away with a robbery there.
The greasiest win ever, yeah.
But the Kai Car-France win looks good in hindsight. Tim Elliott win looks good in hindsight.
I'm about to say, yeah, I think he dropped Kai Car-France. I think he dropped.
Yeah, with the spinning back elbow.
Yeah.
Nasty. And the pressure, too. He had Kai backing up, but what was happening with Brandon Royval is he throws so much, and when these guys respond with that overhand, it hits him every time. It hits him every time.
Definitely needs to get his hands up more, for sure.
And Machinal's a good striker. BJJ black belt. You know, I know a lot of people think this fight's going to finish. I know flyweight fights finish, I think, less than 40-something% of the time, right? Although Royval has been in a whole bunch of finishes in a row here.
I feel like they have been finishing more lately than
recently.
But I do agree with you. They usually just go to the decision most of the time. I agree.
And these guys both have I was seeing the stats, they have an average fight time of 8 minutes, right? In these 15-minute contests. So I see the hard lean there. I actually am going to take a dog shot on Matt Schnell betting-wise. I'll take him by decision. I'm going to predict Royval to pull it off. But I do like Matt Schnell's boxing. I do think he's the better, cleaner striker here. I do think he has the ability to not out-scramble Royval, but stay safe in the scrambles, right? Because Bontarine was really physical with Brandon Royval, and that was a flyweight cut. When Bontarine was at bantamweight, he wasn't as physically dominant with Matt Schnell. And that's the thing with Royval. I seen Brandon Moreno throw him to the mat. Tim Elliott was ragdolling him. Alexander Pantoja ragdolled him and choked him out. So, you know what I mean? So as exciting as he is, he doesn't quite have the physicality needed. And Matt Schnell made weight. He made weight for the first time in a while. So I'm going to honestly say I'm going to take a shot on Matt Schnell by decision. But the fan in me is going to say Brandon Royval pulls it off. But I think the only way for me to bet it is Matt Schnell by decision. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I definitely agree with the line and Royval being the favorite. I just think that Schnell can definitely win this fight. I don't think it's out of proportion. And I think if you're going to pick a dog with all these favorites on this card, I think that's a pretty good start.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to make this close. This is not a 3-1 line like at all. But let's move on down. I know you're very interested in this fight. We got Blagoy Ivanov versus Marcos Rogério de Lima. Heavyweight bout here, and Blagoy's minus 150. So take it away. How you feel about this?
So this is just really, really interesting because this Ivanov is not fought for I think close to 2 years.
Yeah.
I think he was in like a freaking coma. The guy literally got stabbed in a nightclub, got like his lung punctured, and he was in a coma for like 3 months. So he has good fights. I think he took like Derek Lewis to a close decision.
Yeah, split with Derek. Yep.
And another guy, I think it was like maybe like JDS or someone
else.
Sakai, yeah, Augusto Sakai. Okay, yeah. And I don't know, I don't know. I just feel like it's really hard to bet on a guy who's been away for so long, and especially when it's chalked up at minus 150. But I do think that he gets it done. I think maybe one thing I've learned is never take heavyweights by decision unless it's Andrei Arlovsky. But,
I know, right? That's a max bet right there, man.
Yeah, for real. At this point, that is an auto bet for real. But I think he wins. Minus 150, I think just bet him at that point. It's a decent enough line just to bet him by itself. But I think he gets it done after 2 years, hopefully.
You like him by decision?
Like I said, I will never bet heavyweight by decision unless it's Arlovsky, but I want him to get a knockout. I actually, you know what? I'll predict knockout second round.
Wow,
right now.
Nice. Like I said, Ivanov to me has way more tools. He's a better grappler. He's tough. I think the toughness goes a long way. And Marcos is numerous times has slowed down in fights. He's like you said, he's tapped to submissions that weren't in, and the only thing I do like is just the activity for Lima. Right? He's had about what 4 fights in the last 2 years. He's won 3 out of the last 4. He's over there at American Top Team with the boy Andre Arlovsky. Got a lot of heavyweights out there to work. I just don't know where Blagoy's been training recently. I saw some pictures of him at Extreme Couture, but he's definitely not at AKA anymore. And just based on activity, I'm gonna say Lima pulls it off. Slight dog, but I can't trust that guy. You know what I mean? Wins over Maurice Green.
Yeah, Mo Green, come on, yeah.
Ben Rothwell. I mean, how do we rate these? How do we rate these wins?
So, dude, yeah, for real. A lot of those guys are just middling heavyweights.
Exactly. So dogger pass for me, but Blagoy 18-4. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Moving on down, we got a welterweight bout. Now I'm already in on the play here. Francesco Trinaldo versus Danny Roberts. How you feeling about this one?
Man, honestly, I don't want to say anything because this is like I just don't have enough information on these guys, to be honest. This just seems like, especially like I was going to talk about the Journey Newsom fight, but I this fight I don't really have anything on, to be honest.
Well, for me, I absolutely love this spot here. Danny Roberts is an underdog. I was surprised. I was surprised to get him as an underdog. Trinaldo has been pulling out these wins, very close wins, very sketchy wins. Dwight Grant, not the best talent. Muslim Salikov, he got beat pretty handily. Jai Herbert was beating him until he got cracked and then cost Dan Hardy his job. Cost Dan Hardy his job with Herb Dean over there. Stopped the fight. And, Danny Roberts, I was really impressed with the win over Amiv. It was close. And also the win over Zelim Imadaev. And I know Zelim Imadaev hasn't had the best UFC career, but he's a high-level boxer. And Danny Roberts also has been a mainstay at Sanford. He's been working the grappling. He's the true welterweight in here. I think he has the size, the speed, the power advantage. And he's 9 years younger than Trinaldo. And I do think we're getting a gift here, to be honest, at plus 100. I know he did get finished by Mike Perry, which is kind of weird. And he got flying lead by Pereira, but he was winning that whole Mike Perry fight until he got caught. I like hot chocolate here, and Trinaldo's very tough and durable, but I like Danny Roberts here by decision.
Interesting. Okay, nice.
I think that's a good play. But let's move on down here. We got Tracy Cortez versus Melissa Gatto, and I love Melissa Gatto, man. I played her both times in the UFC, both underdog tags. I have her at plus 150. I have her at plus 140. I have her at plus 130. And this line is shrinking. Tracy Cortez is minus 140 now. Now they're forcing me to almost take a step back and really consider this, right?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on this one. She's younger. Yes. She's got a 4-inch reach, undefeated. I really think that she'll get this one done.
And she's mean, man. She's not that win over Sarge. I know people look at her record. Sarge is a tough girl, man. Sarge is a tough girl. Heavy hands, good jiu-jitsu. And I just don't know where Tracy Cortez is at. I don't know how hard she's working for this. She's got over 500 Instagram followers. We got a girl, Melissa Gatto, 20,000. Every picture I see, Melissa Gatto is drenched in sweat. Training with Verna Jandaroba, who's like a wet blanket. So I don't think she's going to have issues with Tracy Cortez. I like Melissa Gatto here by sub, man. I like her by second round Kimura, to be honest.
I like it, man. Inside the distance for women's MMA. I love it. Okay. I like it.
That's how I'm feeling, man. She's finished, first person to finish Sarge. She's finished both her opponents in the UFC. Looked great, too. I'm going to be riding with Gatto, man. And let's hope she catches another underdog tag for us. All right, we have this fight here: Kleydson Rodrigues versus CJ Vergara, and
another flyweight bout.
It should be very exciting, and I'm actually going to take the dog here by principle. And UFC debuts don't always work out for everybody. You've seen it with Talia Santos. You see it with a lot of guys, right? A lot of people's debut doesn't really work out the way you expect. He's 26 years old, only 8 professional fights. The talent isn't, the people he's fighting also, too, not very, very talented. And you know what? When I look at CJ Vergara's record, Ode Osborne is a high-level talent. And he had a split decision to Jonathan Martinez, who I'm a huge fan of Jonathan Martinez. And he fights at featherweight. You know, he could barely make bantamweight. You know what I mean? And he had a split decision, and he's a Muay Thai artist. Like I don't know if you're familiar with Jonathan Martinez out of Elevation out there. He's a fantastic fighter.
I've heard of the name. I can't think of his fights though or his work though, to be honest.
Yeah,
but I have heard of the name though.
Yeah, I heard of the name. He's a talented fighter. Ode Osborne, talented fighter. And I had a bet on Ode Osborne against CJ Vergara, and he had me sweating in the third round. I thought he was going to finish Ode. I was there like, come on, we're up 2-0. Like, don't get killed. And you look at this record, CJ Vergara has a lot of third round finishes, man. A lot of late finishes. He is tough. He's a Muay Thai artist himself. More experience. He's older. This is his sophomore appearance. By principle, at this tag, plus 280, man. If I get CJ Vergara plus 300, I'm throwing a half unit on there, no question.
Yeah, I feel like this is definitely a dog or pass situation. If you get a guy like that who's known to be like that tough of a cookie going into late rounds, yeah, he literally like he gets better as fights go on. Like guys like Cheeto and like Colby, like they get better as the fight goes on. Like
exactly.
That's like one of the best attributes of a fighter. Like
we got a 26-year-old man, 26. He's fighting a grown man right now.
I would say, dude, that's young, yeah.
Yeah, right. Your UFC debut, all this hype. Principle, I'm gonna go with CJ Vergara. Yeah, I like the dog shot here in this spot.
Totally agree with you.
We got 2 more fights here. I know it's one of my longer breakdowns, that's for sure, but it's a long card. We got Lupita Godinez versus Ariane Carnelossi. And as you know, I did message Carnelossi trying to get some insider info, right?
That was awesome. Yeah, that was awesome.
Follow-up question, but she said she's not concerned. And you know what? I'm a fan of Lupita. I think she's an excellent fighter. She's got great skills, but she's constantly overvalued, right? Like, I mean, her UFC debut on short notice, she was minus 300 to Jessica Penne. And I took Penne there. Didn't feel comfortably when the scorecard got read, but I won, and I figured, you know what, this fight was close. She gave her back so much time. Then she comes again, minus 300 again, minus 200 again. Like, I just don't get exactly what Lupita has done with only 9 fights to just be warranted these type of lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't understand why there's so much chalk on her. It's just crazy to see that she's that big, especially at minus 300. That was crazy.
Debut short notice.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So this line has come down, and obviously it should. I think physicality, man, in the women division goes a long way. And Carnelossi throws way more volume. It's not close, actually. Like, Carnelossi's volume and hers, it's not close. I think it's like 4 strikes per minute to like 1.7. You know, Lupi is going to be diving for these takedowns. And I just don't know. Lupi likes to bully people. And I'm not sure she's going to bully Carnelossi here. And in these fights, even Angela Hill's a very tough fighter. Even that fight with Lemos, when I rewatched that fight, I said, man, Angela Hill is so tough. She even dropped Jessica Andrade. Angela Hill was getting pressured bad in that third round. Carnelossi was hitting leg kicks. She was really starting to turn it on as the fight went on because these girls are running from this monster. They do not want to get hit by her. She has 9 finishes in the strawweight division, man. I don't know how many people have 9 finishes in the strawweight division.
That is insane. But especially in women's MMA, she's 14-2, and 9 of her wins are by finish. That's just ridiculous, actually.
And the losses, a cut stoppage. Although I will give Angela Hill, Carlos took the fight on short notice. I will give Angela, she was up 2-1, in my opinion. But a cut stoppage, and then she lost her second fight to Amanda Hebos.
Yeah, those aren't bad names.
By knee bar.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing you mentioned is that volume output. You said she's landing like 4.5 to 1. Like, that's just crazy. Yeah.
Lupita doesn't really throw the striking too much. I know people say, yeah, the jab looks good, but when the fight is extended, she's not really throwing in combinations. And I do love her wrestling a lot, but in that Na Liang fight, I did see a lot of situations. She did get taken down 3 times, but Na Liang is such a long fighter. She was kind of able to wrap her up in spots. And even then, she got out of the crucifix with the one bicep. Just kind of just flipped her over with her one arm. And I think she gassed her out. Even Estela Nunez, she gassed her out just with the pressure. 14-2. Lupita only 9 pro fights, man. I like Lupita, but I can see her just dropping this one to an animal in Carnelossi, man. And at plus 150, I'm not going to parlay her, but that's definitely a straight shot for me.
Yeah, just definitely take her straight at those odds for sure.
Lupita's tough, though. I don't think Carnelossi's going to get 3 finishes in the UFC. You know, she's Mexican. She's from Canada. She's tough. She might hang in there and take a butt whooping. But, yeah, I like Carnelossi, man. Plus 55. And the line's dropping. We could have got her way better.
Like, they probably could have got like plus 200.
Yeah, exactly. Missed the line, but I'm still jumping on board. And here we go with the first fight of the night, but the last fight of the breakdown. And I'm going to get you to kick this off. We got Journey Newson versus Fernie Garcia. How you feeling about this bantamweight fight?
So my biggest question is just how is Journey's chin going to hold up? Because the guy literally got knocked out in like a minute in his last fight. So I think he's a pretty solid fighter. Granted, I've never really seen this Garcia guy fight, but from what I've seen from Journey, pretty solid fighter. He keep at range. He's a little dancy. I mean, that's a lot of guys in bantamweight, I guess. But I think he's pretty solid. I don't think he's a bad fighter, and I get why the line is pretty the way it is. I mean, what is it moving? I just closed my one thing.
It's close. I see Journey at plus 115, man.
I saw it. It was like plus 105. So yeah. So he.
Wow. No faith in Fernie, eh? On Cinco de Mayo, man. What's going on?
I know. What the hell?
Yeah, you know me. I don't like Fortis MMA, man. I think Saysai is an overrated coach. Numerous times I see his fighters flop. Macy Chiasson, Miles John, Kennedy Ninjuku. I mean, these guys to me don't seem like they got it all together. Ramiz Brahimaj, like Fortis MMA to me just isn't turning the results. And 30 years old for Fernie, 10-1, all these decisions. He is hittable. And we know Journey has power. Journey has a boxing experience. And like I said, another debut here versus a guy who's been to the octagon 3 times already. I know it's a couple-year layoff for him, but I know he's been training. I think it's a dog or pass here. You like Journey yourself?
Personally, like I said, I like him as a fighter, but I don't know if I like him enough to bet him, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I think this is probably, like you said, dog or pass.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll go to decision or not, but I got to watch more on Fernie for sure. That's just my biggest thing. Because I know enough about Journey, but I need to watch some stuff on Fernie.
Yeah, and you know, with Journey, a lot of these fights like LFA, so you know it's available on Fight Pass. But that concludes it. I want to thank you again for coming on. This again is Colin from Chase the 8 Sports Handicapping, and we're bringing to you the UFC 274 breakdown. I want to welcome you guys all for joining the show. Good luck on your best this weekend. Now, is there any dead set locks you like this weekend to give out to the people?
So, in order of my confidence, I'm going to go with, without a doubt in my mind, Canelo. Throw that guy in all your parlays. I'm super like if you're betting Oliveira and you just wanted to get around even money, throw Canelo in there. If you're betting on Rose, throw Canelo in there because you could get really good odds with him.
Good.
My second one, I would before the whole weight situation, I was gonna say Oliveira, but now I'm not confident really in him. Not as much as I would, but I think I'm still confident in him relatively. But I think OSP is probably my second one. I really don't see that guy losing. I especially by knockout. I don't see him getting knocked out at all. I think he wins by knockout, actually. I'm that confident in it. So that's my number 2. And then my number 3 is actually, I know I'm going to sound crazy in this, but it's actually that Michael Chandler plus 220 by decision. I really like that.
I love the spot. I love the spot.
For that odds against a guy who's realistically never been finished. He got stopped, late stoppage in a 5th round. And I think those are great odds. So those are my top 3. Obviously, way different odds. One is basically a parlay piece with Canelo. But use Canelo however you want. And like I said earlier in this video, Canelo by decision minus 135. Get on that now, for sure.
Yeah, that's a wonderful price. And for me, as usual, I'm going to be posting the public parlays on the screen, but a couple of straight shots here that I like. Melissa Gatto, she will be in my parlays, but I will be having a straight shot on her. Ariane Carnelossi, plus 155. I'm going to take Rose to win 3 out of 5, however she gets it done. I love the OSP spot. And one of my more confident picks of this card is Danny Roberts. And he'll be straight. He'll be parlayed. I think he gets it done. I think he puts Grandpa Trinaldo to bed. So, as usual, guys, I will be posting the public parlays at the end of this video. And once again, I want to thank Colin for coming out.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm definitely I want to do this again for sure in the future. This was awesome.
And make sure you guys go follow him at Chase the A Sports Handicapping. He's on YouTube. And give him a follow, man. Thank you for coming out. Catch you guys later.